فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين صدق الله المولانا العظيم. Learned scholars, respected guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If we learn from the discussion that my close friend and colleague and our scholar Hazrat Maulana Ashraf Sahab just presented to us, two starking realities come in front of the listener. One, the amount of effort that the scholars of hadith and our previous ulama put into learning hadith, the amount of time they devoted to learning hadith, the sacrifices they made in order to learn about hadith. The last anecdote about Hazrat Jabir ibn Abdullah that Maulana informed us about demonstrates the efforts, the sacrifices that the scholars made. One further sacrifice, or one further starking reality of the efforts of our scholars was the degree of adab they had, the degree of respect they had for one hadith. Just one hadith. In today's technological era, where we find ourselves in front of a computer, downloading information at the press of a button and printing it off in order to use it in different ways, on occasion we find it absolutely astounding that how a person could go through so much for one sentence. On one occasion, Hazrat Khalid ibn Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, whose name you will all have heard of, that senior companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who actually, after fighting against the Muslim army, embraced Islam, and under whose leadership the Muslim army won so many battles. Hazrat Khalid ibn al-Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu on one occasion was approached by one of his students. His student's ardent desire, his request was, my teacher, addressing Hazrat Khalid ibn Walid, you are a senior companion of the Prophet. Under your leadership and guardianship, Allah Rabbul Alameen gave the Muslim community many a victory. It is my lifetime ambition to hear one statement from yourself that you attribute to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, i.e. to listen to one hadith, just one hadith. Remember the scenario of downloading information in front of a computer screen by pressing a few buttons at your disposal. Hazrat Khalid ibn al-Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu instructs his student that I will not relay you any statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam until you fast for one complete year. Sum sanatan kamilatan summa uhaddis. After you fast for one complete year, then and only then will I relay to you something that I have directly heard from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This student undertakes those instructions, fasts for one complete year, and then reattends the assembly of Hazrat Khalid ibn al-Walid, and once again informs Hazrat Khalid ibn al-Walid that please, it is my lifetime ambition to hear one hadith from you. I have fasted for one complete year as you inform me. Then Hazrat Khalid ibn al-Walid radiallahu ta'ala anhu informed him or relayed to him one hadith. This is for one hadith, that one statement, and the adab and etiquette, the respect that these companions, noble companions, had for anything that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. For one complete year they fasted, one complete year. And this was just to learn one statement. On occasion this statement was just less than one line, as we might write it today. Likewise, Imam Malik bin Anas, rahmatullahi alayhi, Malik bin Anas, that scholar who is known as the scholar of Medina, who wrote the famous work of Al-Mu'atta, who is credited to have championed the practice of the people of Medina in his work, Al-Mu'atta. Imam Malik bin Anas, his practice was to sit in his class in front of his students and comment on and narrate the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On one occasion, Imam Malik bin Anas, his habit was not to move whilst he was saying a hadith. He was absolutely motionless out of respect for the hadith. On one occasion, students observed that his face was going pale and green and red. His face was changing in colors, yet he was absolutely motionless. After the lesson, students asked Imam Malik, we saw your color changing, but you remain absolutely motionless. What was the problem? Imam Malik said, lift my upper garment, lift my kurta. I think there is an insect who's stinging me. And the pain of that was causing my face to change colors. But out of respect for the hadith and words of the Prophet ﷺ, I did not have the courage to move. This was the courage. There were 16 bites, 16 venomous bites from a venomous insect. These are two examples, two case studies. The case study of Imam Malik bin Anas and the case study of that student of Hazrat Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anhu, which indicate to us the degree of respect that these senior people of Islam had, were not just only learning but also relaying a statement that came from the purified tongue of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Besides that, the other starking feature was the amount of effort and sacrifices that our scholars made. Hazrat Imam Tabrani, Abul Qasim al-Tabrani, is a well-known author. Scholars, ulama are aware of his name and his works. Abul Qasim Tabrani, Tabran is the name of a city in northeast Iran nowadays. Abul Qasim Tabrani narrates on one occasion, myself and two other colleagues, the three of us, traveled with the intention of meeting a certain scholar to learn a certain hadith. En route, while trekking through the desert, we came across situations where there was no food, we'd run out of food. There was no water supply because we had run out of the water supply, we'd used it. There was no village in sight, and there was no other human coming in front of us. And the desert heat was taking its toll upon us to the extent that one of my colleagues fell to the floor and collapsed. The two remaining decided that we should continue the journey and leave this companion behind. Once we find some assistance and help, we will guide them to this person. En route, Imam Tabarani informs us that my colleague himself, the second one, collapsed out of hunger and thirst. He just could not continue anymore. So I left him. I moved on until eventually I approached a village whereby I collapsed. The villagers gave me food, gave me water, rehabilitated me. I indicated to them that I had two colleagues at certain distances apart who are in need of your assistance and help. The villagers took food and water and rehabilitated these people, gave them consciousness again. They both survived. And then we decided, after enduring all these painstaking efforts, that we should still continue our journey in the search for hadith. So that statement, which we today readily listen from mimbars or chairs or read from books, is a statement, a tribute to the Prophet ﷺ that has been passed down to us, not only by many painstaking efforts, but also by the greatest respect and piety, and also by financial sacrifices. Hazrat Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal is referred to as Imam al-Dunya. A full school of thought is known as the school of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. One occasion in his life, he traveled from Baghdad to the Yemen, quite a journey on camel, a perilous journey in the desert heat. He wanted to learn hadith from Imam Abdul Razzaq ibn al-Hammam as-San'ani. On meeting the Imam, his financial assets, his money had run out in his trip to the Yemen from Iraq. He devised a strategy that he would earn and learn. He would earn for a living in order to learn, pay for his books, etc. And that's how he remained. His teacher came to learn of his circumstances and wanted to give him a gift of money in order for him to complete his studies for the rest of his stay. But Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal declined the offer, said no to it. He said, I wish to earn with my own feet, stand by my own 2 feet, and learn at the same time. These case studies indicate to us, whether we look at the case of Hazrat Jabir ibn Abdullah, Hazrat Maulana Shaf Sahib relate to us, Imam Malik bin Anas, the student of Hazrat Khalid ibn Walid, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Imam Malik bin Anas. These case studies determine for us the amount of financial sacrifice, the amount of painstaking efforts, and the amount of respect that our senior ulama of Islam and of this ummah had for a statement that we call today a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah Rabbul Alameen grant us the ability to understand the efforts of our pious predecessors. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.